today I'm talking to Lori Gillespie, who's entered a photograph into our Spirit of the Hills contest, Picture of the Possibilities. Lori, when I set out the call for people who, to be interviewed, you responded by saying that you love to talk about your creative process. So let's start there. Tell me about your creative process.
Okay, well, it starts sort of with a concept or a thought, and that it can sometimes it just pops into my head, like, oh my God, I want to do this. And sometimes it's through reading a book. I might get an idea, or even watching a movie. I might get an idea, or old paintings. I love especially John William Waterhouse. His paintings, they're usually use females, and they're very ethereal, magical sort of style. And that's what I really am attracted to. But as well, they can be a little bit dark. My photos can be a little darkish. People think so. And then that used to bother me when I started doing my photography, because I used to think, oh, people don't like that, so I can't do that. And then I decided, you know what, this is what I do. And once I got my head wrapped around that, I found that I had a really good response from people. Like, they liked it. And when I did other things, I didn't get as good a response. So I realized it's like I'm putting what I love into it, and you could tell through my photos, sort of thing.
Exactly.
And I prefer a vintage theme. I have a lot of vintage clothing. I've collected quite a few. I buy them on eBay or thrift stores. And I like my models. So I use women, and I like them usually to wear like the vintage style clothings. And it's something about the vintage clothing. There's an energy or something that kind of goes along with the clothes. When the model puts it on, they kind of feel the vibe or something. I don't know what it is, but for example, I had my daughter-in-law did a shoot, and we rented a dress. It was a three pieces. It was like from the 1800s. It was a real experience just holding the garment and putting it on her, because it had all these layers and the bustle, and it was really something. And she said, we did it in an old cemetery. And when we were walking in the cemetery, she told me that she felt like she wanted to stand taller, just wearing those clothes. It made her want to stand tall. She commented that to me, and I thought that was really interesting. But so as well as the clothes, the location is really important. So sometimes I go out and I scout out areas, and they can be anything, but I do tend to gravitate towards older things, like old abandoned houses. The dresses, it can be really challenging to get a model to fit those dresses. Like the waists are only like, some of them are like 20 inches. Like, how do you find a model, even very thin ones, to fit? So it's really hard. So sometimes I have to, you know, either don't photograph them from the back, or do something in the back that, I don't know, or I try to fix it in the post editing or something.
Right.
That can be challenging. Yeah. And then also finding a location can be challenging sometimes, but it's really important to me. So I would rather just look for a place and find a place that I want before I do the shoot. I love old, as I said, I love old houses. I also love houses that people still live in. And I've approached people like property owners. Some people aren't that fussy about me coming on their property. So yeah, and it's really hard because I really want to, right? But I've gotten brave about going up and asking people. And some people have been okay about it, and others are like, no, thank you. So then, you know, I just have to leave. I've done some indoor shoots as well. I have a studio set up at my mother's. It's just a makeshift studio. It's downstairs in her basement, but I have some strobes, I have a backdrop, and I do some shoots there. In fact, the one that's in the Picture the Possibilities show, that one was indoors with the strobe. I have, yeah, these
Really?
whole book above her eyes. Yeah, that one we just did indoors.
Huh.
Yeah, and it was good too. I mean, I like doing that as well, but there's something about location that I really like a lot. Yeah, I'm not a technical person at all, so that also includes with my photography. I'm not very techy. I try something, if it doesn't work, I try something else. I mean, I know the basics, but sometimes a picture can even be maybe even not perfectly clear, but it still conveys an emotion or an artistic expression that I was trying to achieve. So I think that's about all I wanted to say about that.
All right.
Do you have any questions about that?
I think that was pretty comprehensive. I do have a follow-up question though, which is just what is it about photography? I mean, your photography does have a lot of artistic and painterly elements to it. So why photography over acrylic or oil or painting?
I think because I find like a picture's worth 1,000 words, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because I'm sort of a storyteller, I want to say maybe I'm a storytelling nature in my images. So a picture, I feel I can convey the story better. And I'm not an artist. I mean, I feel like I was always an artist wannabe. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Then I found through my photography that I could kind of be that artist that I always wanted to be, sort of thing, you know, by telling the stories. And I mean, I've always loved photography, but I was never, I'll say, was never really good at it until I took a course. It was about 2012. I took a course at Fleming College with Cindy Taylor, and it just opened my eyes to the possibilities that could be done using a camera. And then I just saw things in a different light, and a different light. Painting with light, that's photography.
Exactly.
So I guess instead of painting with paint, I was painting with light, sort of thing. But yeah,
Perfect.
I've always been a creative person. I always like to draw, but I could never really paint, which I always wished that I could. So still dabble a little bit. I do art journaling and that sort of thing, you know, in my spare time, just for my own personal fun. But yeah, so I guess that's why.
Right.
Just what I want to express. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, those are all the questions that I have for you, and I'd like to wish you the best of luck in the contest. I hope you do well.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Alan. This is a lot of fun.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.